He's been a great leader. He's a good man, a decent man, who has done so much for this nation, but so much to see us as people, to value us, to fight for us.
That was Democratic National Committee Chair Jamie Harrison earlier today, reacting to President Joe Biden's decision to drop out of the presidential race. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brooke Buckner. President Biden making the historic announcement today that he's stepping away from his re-election efforts and supporting Vice President Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee for president. And former President Donald Trump quickly reacted to this news. In a statement he put out on Truth Social a few hours ago, he says his former opponent was, quote, not fit to run and certainly not fit to serve and never was. Trump also called Biden the worst president by far in the history of our nation. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders also weighing in to say that Biden is not fit to run for president, not fit to serve as president, and that Biden should resign immediately. However, Little Rock Mayor Frank Scott Jr. says President Biden has been a strong voice for Little Rock and America. He also says that through the American Rescue Plan Act and the bipartisan infrastructure law, the city of Little Rock was able to get through a volatile economy, experiencing historic job growth and infrastructure investment. President Biden's decision came amid growing pressure from many in his party after his debate performance last month. Natalie Brand is at the White House with the latest on this historic decision.
President Biden has dropped out of the presidential race, ending his bid for re-election just 4 months before the November vote. In a statement, the president said in part, quote, while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. Biden's decision followed a debate performance that prompted more than 36 Democratic lawmakers to urge him to pull out of the race. One of his closest allies, Delaware Senator Chris Coons, called it a very difficult decision.
The challenge of seeing this moment and of recognizing what was in the best interest of the nation was a significant challenge. I still believe he could have beaten Donald Trump.
The president's change of heart comes 1 month ahead of the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. Jamie Harrison is the chair of the DNC.
This president, Joe Biden, has been a transformational president. He's been a great leader.
President Biden offered his full support and endorsement of Vice President Kamala Harris. In a statement, she said she's honored and that it's her intention to earn and win the nomination.
Political heavyweights are already backing Vice President Harris, including both Clintons and many members of Congress.
The framework of the race is clear at this point. Kamala Harris is going to prosecute this case for democracy and freedom across the country.
Across the country, voters reacted. From the battleground state of Wisconsin,
Biden dropping out now really kind of changes a lot of what I was thinking as well, having to learn about a new candidate.
To the nation's capital, where some supporters gathered to express their admiration for the president, including David Kiva, who has worked for him.
I'm here today to help to celebrate his legacy and all that he's accomplished on so many issues, including the one that I work on, which is climate.
The DNC says in the coming days, the party will undertake a transparent and orderly process to move forward as a united Democratic Party. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
And meanwhile, Trump texted the following message to CBS News. It said, quote, Kamala Harris owns the entire left-wing policy record of Joe Biden. The only difference is that she is even more liberal and less competent than Joe, which is really saying something, end quote. And we're hearing more reaction from officials and lawmakers following the news of Biden stepping away and not seeking a second presidential term. Representative French Hill says, quote, Biden can run from the campaign trail, but Democrats cannot escape their record of failure. Republicans have a positive vision to unite America, and November is coming. And here's Senator Tom Cotton. He says Democrats can take Joe Biden out of the White House, but they can't take their radical policies out of the Democratic Party. He went on to say whoever runs for the Democrats will have the same failed ideas that have hurt the country under Joe Biden. Meanwhile, Arkansas State Representative Andrew Collins says President Biden has served his country well, including with this decision. The local Democratic Party of Arkansas also weighing in, saying Arkansas Democrats are incredibly proud of President Biden today, not only for his responsive and selfless decision to step aside, but also for his steadfast leadership and historic accomplishments as our president for the past 4 years. And former President Barack Obama also took to social media to say, quote, Joe Biden has been one of America's most consequential presidents, as well as a dear friend and partner to me. Today, we've also been reminded again that he's a patriot of the highest order. And President Biden is the first sitting president who is eligible for re-election to decline to run again since President Lyndon B. Johnson stepped aside in the spring before the 1968 election. Johnson's vice president, Hubert Humphrey, won the Democratic nomination that year, but then lost the election to Richard Nixon.
Now shifting gears, we've had another nice day across central Arkansas with highs staying in the 80s across central Arkansas, middle to upper 80s today with some 70s to our north, a few lower 90s to our south, but 87 was the high in the capital city as well as in Stuttgart, Arkansas. Hot Springs a little bit cooler, seeing a high around 84. Hot Springs a little, Pine Bluff a little warmer, seeing a high around 90 even. Now again, similar to yesterday, this is below average for this time of year, and that's putting us now on a 5-day stretch of below average temperatures for the month of July, and we're looking to see that yet again tomorrow. But tomorrow we're going to be tracking more in the way of rain chances, scattered showers and thunderstorms becoming possible in the afternoon, and even when it's not raining, it's going to be a fairly overcast day. I'll have a look at the week ahead and how long you'll need that rain gear in your 7-day outlook, so make sure you stick around.
And with President Biden stepping out of this year's presidential race, as mentioned earlier, he's endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris to run for president. However, some wonder if this automatically makes Harris the Democratic nominee. Ariane Till with our Verified team looks into it and finds out if this is true or not.
President Joe Biden will no longer seek a second term. He announced today that he is withdrawing his candidacy. This after weeks of pressure from voters and fellow Democrats to step aside, given his age and recent struggles in public appearances. Biden has been the presumptive nominee for months, having easily won nearly every primary in a mostly uncontested race. But he was never actually officially nominated. That process happens in August. So what happens now? Who becomes the nominee? In his announcement, Biden said his current vice president, Kamala Harris, should be the new nominee. But will it automatically be her? Let's verify. Our sources include Democratic Party rules, various state laws, the U.S. Supreme Court, and Elaine Camark, a senior fellow at Brookings. Even though voters make their preference known in primaries and caucuses, the nominee is actually decided by delegates at the Democratic National Convention. Delegates are assigned to vote for a candidate based on the results of their state's primary. Party rules say, quote, delegates elected to the National Convention, pledged to a presidential candidate, shall in good conscience reflect the sentiments of those who elected them. But that phrase, in all good conscience, provides some wiggle room. Experts say it means delegates could be released from their obligations if the candidate they're assigned to drops out. And at that point, they become free agents. There's no rule that says delegates would automatically be bound to some other candidate. That means, no, Kamala Harris will not automatically become the nominee. So, what actually happens instead? All of the nearly 4,000 Biden delegates are allowed to cast their vote for anyone they want. This is called a brokered convention, and it's how nominees used to be decided until primaries became the norm. Anyone can throw their hat in the ring and jockey for those delegates' votes. Delegates are mostly local party operatives, or sometimes just hardcore voters chosen by their party at the statewide conventions. If, after the first vote, no candidate has a majority, a few hundred party elders, called superdelegates, are also allowed to participate in the next round. The delegates vote over and over again until someone wins a majority. So, this process historically involves a lot of chaos and backroom deals. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Till.
And there's still a lot to unpack from all of this. More support is pouring in for Vice President Kamala Harris. She would be the first Black woman and first South Asian American to lead the ticket of a major political party. For more reaction as well as the latest information on this breaking story, you can head over to our website, thv11.com. And we'll also have more on this tomorrow morning on Wake Up Central from 4:30 to 7. New at 10, Camden police are looking for 2 alleged suspects following a deadly shooting that happened earlier this morning. Right now, police are identifying the suspect as Dorian Cunningham. However, officials are also looking for Alexia Radford as well, the person who allegedly drove Cunningham away from the scene. After receiving a call referring to the shooting, officers found the victim, John Tavion Higgins, on the ground. He later died after being transported to the Ouachita County Medical Center. If you have any information, you're asked to contact the Camden Police Department. And still ahead, a major grant is heading to UAMS. We'll share what this could mean for you coming up. And a sweet story you don't want to miss. A 9-year-old Centerton girl, her wish is coming true, a place where she can create art. We'll take you inside this she shed in 3 minutes. Simone?
Your Monday looking to start out overcast, but by afternoon we're tracking scattered showers and thunderstorms. I'll have that full 7-day outlook coming up after this break.